into a session filled with knowledge, strategies, and valuable advice. Joining us as our keynote speaker, a renowned career coach and social media influencer, Mr. Satyam Khandelwal sir, who has been helping people finding the right jobs for years. Over the past 5 years, he has assisted over 10,000 professionals in India, UAE, and the UK in setting career goals and securing their dream jobs through effective resume reviews, LinkedIn presence, and interview preparations. He has delivered 250 sessions, over 20 plus institutes on career clarity, job search techniques, resume building, and LinkedIn optimization. Let's welcome Satyam sir for an exciting and informative session on resume building. Over to you, sir.
Hi, thank you so much. Thank you so much for the generous introduction. I'm really excited to be here to kind of getting an opportunity to guide you all in this session of resume building. I've had sessions with some colleges of Delhi University before, but this is my first session with the School of Open Learning. So really excited, and I will ensure that this session is of 100% value, right? And great value is extended to all of you. But I would need your support as well in this, right? Since this is an online session, we would be following certain rules to ensure the effectiveness of this session, right? Rule number one, time is not our biggest asset here. Okay, we'll be here for the next 1 hour together, learning, understanding, implementing. But time is not our biggest asset, right? The principle is false. Our biggest asset is focus. So for me to ensure that you get great value, I need you all to sit here with 100% focus, which means if you have any other tabs open, if you have logged in from your mobile phone and you're simultaneously parallelly looking for reels or scrolling down shorts, don't do that. Either do that or do this. Whatever you do, do with 100% focus. Only that will ensure the result. That's rule number one. Rule number two, this is not a lecture. We will not be going into the lecture mode. This is a highly implementable session. And the bridge between listening and implementing is actually noting things down. I would request all of you to sit with a pen and a notepad, because there'll be many things that I'll be speaking about which are readily implementable, which means you will get a chance to implement it right after this session and get great benefits. And that is why I want all of you to sit with a pen and a notepad. It's not a dictation कि आपको सारी चीजें note करनी है, but whatever you feel important and whatever I say is important for your resume and interviews and jobs, please note it down. Rule number three, I am very much in for addressing questions. And that is why when you sit with the pen and a notepad, keep your questions ready and noted, because I'll keep 10 to 15 minutes at the end only for Q&A. We'll take up questions then, and I'll ensure that I answer all the questions. Those were the three rules. Now, if I am visible clearly and you can hear me loudly, please type loud and clear in the chat box. I want you to use the chat box for communicating with me. Please type loud and clear on the chat box if you can see me and hear me. Type loud and clear. Perfect. Thank you, Vishesh, Aisha, Neeraj, Anam, Shubhangi, Kamal, Naveen, Arpita, Rachit. Thank you, everybody. So I know you can hear me. That gives me a lot of energy. Let's start with the content of the session. I'm sharing my screen. Okay. Aishwarya ma'am, if you can just confirm if my screen is visible so that I can start.
Yes, your screen is visible. Thank you, and you're loud.
Great. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Let's start here. So I've already been introduced. This is not for bragging. This is just for the sake of that beyond resume building. Resume building ke ilawa bhi, if you have any doubts, where all you can ask your doubts with me, right? Towards the end of the session. That is why I'm sharing this again. So I'm an alumni of Symbiosis Pune and IMT Ghaziabad, where I did my MBA in 2012. I started my first job at the age of 22 years as a management trainee in one of the leading FMCG company in India. I rose to the head of designation, head of the division, like country level division within 6 years. And then post that, I started the career coaching gig. I started training graduates and working professionals on resume building, interview preparations, networking, profile building, etc. I'm also nominated mentor of change by Niti Aayog under Atal Innovation Mission. Right? That's it. This is only for, if beyond resume building, if you have certain doubts, you can reach out to me. That's fine. Now, more important stuff. What we are learning here, right? Resume building. There are a lot of myths prevalent among graduates. This is purely by experience. I mean, with my experience of training almost 10,000 plus graduates now on resume building and job interview preparations, I have seen certain myths that are prevalent among graduates as well as working professionals. First of all, we'll break down those myths, right? And then we'll move forward on what is to be done. Myth number one, a long resume is a better resume. Myth, right? Not true. Your resume is a marketing document. It has to be crisp and targeted. Anybody who has learned, I came to know that there are MBA students in this call, you would have learned marketing, you would have learned concepts. For any product to be sold, for any idea to be pitched, the consumer's attention is limited. So within a crisp format, you have to be very, like, your content has to be like a pitch document. It has to be very targeted. It has to be very crisp. When I say crisp, it does not mean 1 page. It does not mean 1.5 page. It could be 2 page as a standard. It could be 3 pages as well. But as a graduate fresher, the ideal length of a resume is 1 page. Ideal length. You can go up to 2 pages, but not more than that, right? So reality is, to attract the attention of the HR, your resume, your document has to be crisp and targeted. You will only be able to draft that when you think from the perspective of a marketeer, that your profile is being sold here and the customer is the recruiter, right? Myth number two, there is a standard template for a resume. Myth. If your training and placement committee, if your college placements, when you're sitting for campus placements, right, there of course could be a standard resume, that's resume template that is given to you by your training and placement cell. You follow that. But when you are applying for off-campus job, when you are going for jobs beyond the companies that are coming to the campuses, there is no standard template. There is no templates that is preferred by the companies. ऐसा कुछ भी नहीं है, right? It could be customized, it could be creative, but there are some things that needs to be taken care of, which we'll speak about in the upcoming slides. Myth number three, recruiters go through my resume. Reality is, in India, for an average job, any job that opens for an MBA fresher, the average number of applications is 1,000, average. In the first 5, 6, 7 days, 1,000 applicants would have applied already. Now, among those 1,000 applicants, it's not practically possible for recruiters to go through every resume. So if you are preparing the resume from the mindset that a human would be reading it, then you are having a false belief. Reality is, only a few resume reach to that stage where a human reads it, where an human HR recruiter reads it. What is that stage? How to reach to that stage? We will see in the upcoming slides. The fourth and a very critical myth here, a very, very critical myth is, people think, or graduates think, that resumes are meant only for jobs, only to apply for jobs. No, that's not right. Even if you are a first year student now, even if your summer placements are like far from here, even if your final placements are far from here, you start building your resume. They help you revisit your past experience. They help you identify your weaknesses. They help you form the basis of career decisions and a lot of other things that we will see. right? Don't just wait for your placements to start drafting your resume. Start building them right now. That is the reality. Now, if you are with me till here, if you understood this slide, first take a screenshot and then type on the chat box with you. Please type in the chat box with you. Perfect. Vinay, Rachit, Saisha, Deepshika, Lalit, Vinay, Prashant, Diksha. Awesome. Thank you. Let's move on. Why do we need to build a resume? Right? I've already told you, get that job is the first one. The mindset with which you would be building the resume is to get that job. Second thing, revisit your past experience. And experience here does not just mean work experience. It could mean internships. It could mean your academic projects. It could mean organizing events or participating in events that you have done in your college. Everything has to come up in a document, right? That is your past experience. Why I'm saying identify your weaknesses, because whatever you want to write in your resume, whatever you have not done, अगर आप अभी बिल्ड करना चालू कर देते हो, then you will see where are the gaps, where are the improvement areas, what is there which you cannot write in your resume. Do a certification course, participate in a contest, get that thing in your resume already. Unless you prepare your resume, you won't know कि क्या projects lagging है, क्या skill sets lacking है. Only when you put it in a document, then you will know. It also helps you make the right career decision, because once you make a resume, you would understand what kind of jobs are you like suitable for, are you fit for. It also acts as a ready profile statement, because let's say somebody connects with me and I'll tell you how to connect with me. Somebody connects with me, somebody wants to get a referral for a job. If you connect with me, I'll ask for your resume, right? I'll ask for a profile statement. Give me something about you so that I can refer you to my network of corporates. You need a resume ready, and a good one, right? That is the why of resume building. Now we are moving towards how to build it. Now from here, I'll be telling you the tips and tricks to build your resume. And those tips and tricks won't be random. They won't be generic. I have talked to 100+ recruiters who analyze resumes of freshers, of graduates, right? That is what we will be considering, right, while discussing this. If you are ready for this, type ready in the chat box. Can you type ready in the chat box if you are ready to now understand how a recruiters think while analyzing CVs? Type ready in the chat box. Perfect. Let's move. Number one, the first secret is your resume has to be prepared in the form of a pitch document. What do I mean by pitch document? It means that it is not an essay. Recruiters are not expecting you to write an essay, because nobody is there to evaluate you, 80 out of 100 or whatever, 25 out of 30. No, it has to be a pitch document. If you are asked to sell a product, if you are asked to sell a service, and if you are asked to prepare a one-page document about that product or service, what would you highlight? You would highlight USPs, you would highlight features, you would highlight how that product can add value to the life of the consumer. That is the mindset that you will have to have while building the resume, and that is why I'm saying it has to be a pitch document, right? The second and even more important secret, keywords. What are keywords? Keywords are the words that would attract the recruiter at the first go. They also help you get through ATS, but that is something that we'll discuss. A resume cannot be very generic. A resume has to be prepared with the mindset of what the recruiters need, what they actually want. That is the mindset with which a resume is prepared. Now, can you tell me, where would you get to know what recruiters need? Can you type in the chat box? Who knows Where will you find the information of what recruiters need? I've got the right answer already. That's really, really awesome. So Vishesh, you're very right. Vanshika, you're also right. And there are some unknown users without the name. You're all right. JD. Now again, when you're applying for jobs through your TNP department and there is a standard resume that has to go, there is a different trick. And if you're applying for jobs off campus, there is a different trick. When you're applying for jobs through your TNP department and there is only one chance of submitting your resume, then also you must analyze 5-6 job roles that you would want to get into. Carve out the keywords. Try to use those keywords in your resume. Why I'm saying try to use? Because ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए कि in the job description it's written that you should know Power BI, you should know Microsoft Excel. You do not know Microsoft Excel, and then also you are putting in Microsoft Excel. It should not be like that. Either you learn Microsoft Excel or you don't write it. But whatever you can write, sometimes people call sales, sometimes they call it business development, right? Sometimes analysis is called data analysis, sometimes it's called financial analysis for financial companies, sometimes it's called business analysis. Now, what are the words that the recruiters are using? Analyze those 4 or 5 job descriptions that you want to target, carve out those words, induce it in your resume. That is a trick to get into top 10% of applicants. Top 10% of applicants. Especially talking about off-campus jobs, when you apply through job portals, when you apply through LinkedIn. Because if you apply for all these jobs through one standard resume, I mean, nobody cares. The resume crosses a machine. That machine is called ATS, right? At the first level. It does not understand how good you are, how qualified you are. It only understands keywords. That's it. It will shortlist your profile basis keywords. The keywords are in the job description, as you rightly guessed. If those keywords are also in your resume, some of those at least, it will shortlist you. That is where 90% of candidates are going wrong, and 10% who understand this, they are getting into the interviews. That is what is the importance of keywords. Now, if you have understood the importance of keywords, and you actually want me to tell you how to get into top 5%. So keywords will take you into top 10% of applicants. If you want to understand how to get into top 5%, type 5% in the chat box. Can you type 5% in the chat box? Perfect. Can you see this word? Result orientation. This is the word that will take you to the top 5%. How would it take you to the top 5%? Please understand, this is very, very critical. Why it is critical? Because 95% of people are not doing it. If you can somehow do this, you get into the top 5%, right? Whatever you write in your resume, and we'll go through the content as well, but whatever you write, it could be your internship experience. I'm assuming that there are more of MBA second year students here. So you would have done some internships, you would have done some academic projects, you would have done some freelance projects, you would have done some events in college, organized events, participated in events. Now, whatever you have done, there are ways to mention it in the resume. For example, let's say I have interned as an MBA student, I have interned with a company and I'm writing about it, right? 3-month project on social media management with ABC Private Limited from 1st of April to 30th of June 2023. Okay, good way to write. Now, the second way to write, 3-month project with ABC Limited on social media management, where I ran their FB ads and increased their overall FB and Instagram management from X to X plus 30% within a span of 3 months. Which one is better, A or B? Chat box. Which one is better? Which style is better? Of course, right? That is result orientation. Now, it could be applied to all your projects, academic or industry. It could be applied to your events. For example, I had resumes, organized annual fest of my college, for example, right? One line. That's it. There are people who would have written it like this: organize the annual fest of whatever ABC college, name, Simples, Varchasva, Passion, whatever is the name, and ensured that the footfalls increased from 300 to 360, which is 20% increase from the last year. There was a second point as well: received feedback from corporate guests, which was on an average 9.6 out of 10. This is how you ensure result orientation. How recruiters will infer that? So there are two advantages. I'll tell you there are two advantages. Number one, it is fed in the ATS when you're applying for off-campus jobs. It's fed in the ATS that more like if there are more numbers or more data in the resume, the chances of shortlisting gets higher. That's the first advantage that you have, because it will read numbers, it will give you more points. ATS gives you a score, so it will give you more points because there are more numbers in your resume. The second advantage, as an HR, you consider yourself as a recruiter, right? If you consider yourself as a recruiter, which one would you prefer, A or B? Which one would you prefer? Organize annual fest of my college or footfalls, feedback? A or B? Which one? Tell me in the chat box. B, of course, because there are more questions to be asked. You understand that the person, the applicant, gives more importance to outcome, to the value added, and he's not task driven, he's result driven, outcome driven. That is the mindset you have to carry while writing your resume, right? That is why understanding these three secrets is important. Okay, now this was more on the mindset, which is the principles. So you know now that the principle, the mindset that you need to carry is that it has to be a pitch document. You need to use the right keywords. You now know where you would find the keywords in the job description. Number three, result orientation, right? This is the broad principles. We have not yet gone into drafting the resume. We will now go into drafting. How will you draft? But why principles are important? Because without the principles, if you start drafting, I mean, you will draft something which is not in the top 10% or 15%, which is very average. So now let's go into drafting the resume. What all things you need to be sure of to start drafting? Type RSG in the chat box. RSG is ready, set, go. Type RSG in the chat box. Wow, pretty quick. I know the people who are really actively listening here: Anam, Achal, Vanshika, Rachit, Vinay, Priyamvada. Thank you, Nibha. Let me take you to the drafting part. Just a recheck if the screen is visible. Perfect. Okay. What all needs to be taken care? We'll also go to the content, but before you start the content, consistent formatting. What does it mean? Font type, font size. It does not mean that font size could be one for the headings, one for subheadings. That's it. No colors, no orange, green, red, nothing. Black and white resume with consistent formatting. Number two, bullet points. To describe each project, you must follow bullet points. It should not look like an essay. It should not look like a paragraph, because it affects two things. One, the ATS, it gets confused when there are long sentences. Number two, even if it reaches the HR, to the recruiter, it should be readable, right? And you know better what is more readable, pointers or paragraphs. Pointers are more readable, right? So see, it's written. It's easier for both ATS and recruiters to process. Your points get highlighted when you write in bullets. Headings and subheadings, simple. Whenever you are writing about projects, put up a heading, for example, organized Varchasva, it's just a name, or organized Passion, whatever is your annual fest. Organized Sprint 2023. And then 3 points on what you did When you write organize sprint as one line, it becomes an additional information. But when you write organize annual fest of your college sprint 2023 and you write 3 pointers or 2 sub pointers, bullet points under that, it becomes a project. It becomes something that they will be interested in understanding कि आपने क्या किया उसमें, what did you learn, what value did you add. Make your events, make your, you know, whatever you have done in your college, freelance projects, anything, make them as projects. You can make them as projects only when you are result oriented in writing. So headings and subheadings, white space and margins. Now this is also very important. Standard, I'll share with you some templates as well. White space, proper margins. ऐसा नहीं है कि 3 lines together and then there is a space. It should look like standardized, you know. The spacing should be standard across the resume. No breaking the resume into multiple columns. Skills idhar likh diya, projects idhar, no. Left to right, top to bottom. That's it. That has to. Otherwise, it will confuse the ATS. Now, time for a screenshot again. You can take a screenshot and then I'll explain you. Type SS in the chat box if you have taken the screenshot. SS in the chat box if you have taken the screenshot of this slide. Perfect. Thank you. So this is the essentials of a resume. If you are applying for off campus, I'm again saying if your training and placement team gives you a standard format or a template because companies have asked them to do, it's a different matter. But if you are applying for off campus in open market, on this and only this is what you would use. You would put in your resume. Your name, full and in block letters, has to come in the left. Your contact details has to come in the right. Below the name, just below the name, you can maybe write marketing finance, whatever word you want to highlight for which you are targeting the jobs for, digital marketer, campaign manager, whatever you want to write, right? The thing, the designation that you're chasing, that is what you would write just below your name. For example, I would write below my name career coach, edtech professional and career coach, right? This is what I would write. Freshers write multiple things, marketing enthusiast, right? Project finance, investment banking, digital campaigns, whatever you want to write just below your name. Then comes your career objective. If you are a person with experience, 3, 4, 5 years of experience, then you write your professional title. Otherwise, you write your career objective. What defines you or your goal? And we'll go through career objectives. How is the career objective written? Who are you? Where you want to go from here? I repeat, who are you? Where you want to go from here? This is what you would write in your career objective. Simple heading and then sub point, you would write the career objective. Then you would write your education. It's simple. Most recent to oldest, you start with your MBA marks, you go to your graduation marks, 12th, 10th. The only thing that I'll suggest is if you have really great marks, go to grades, go to the numbers that you want to write. If you have average or below average marks, you can cluster it. Cluster is it as in you can write GPAs or grades A, B, whatever it is, right? Highlight those things that are meant to be highlighted, but that is how you write education. Internships, projects, experience. This is where ये तो minimum basic है. You can add on to this. Career objective आप कितना अच्छा लिखते हो इससे decide नहीं होगा कि आप select होगे कि नहीं. Career objective is an add-on. It could be impressive over and above your profile, but where you will actually get selected is this or rejected are these 3 things. Your internship, projects and experience. So below education, the heading should be internships and projects. I'm assuming you are a fresher and that's why I'm saying internship and projects. And then you start writing your heading of the internships, 3, 4 bullet points. Heading of your projects in college, whether it is organizing events, annual fest, whatever it is, 1, 2, 3 points. Heading, 1, 2, 3 points. So there has to be a project heading, then 3 or 4 bullet points. Project heading, 3 or 4 bullet points. And you have to be result oriented while writing those 3 or 4 bullet points, even if it is an academic project. Then the next section is skill sets. As simple, कोई star नहीं, कोई ग्राफ नहीं, कोई चार्ट नहीं, the ATS will reject it. Skill sets divided into two. First bullet point, soft skills. Second bullet point, core skills or technical skills. What are soft skill sets? Critical thinking, problem solving, leadership, team building, public speaking, presentation skills, etc. Technical skills or core skills, Microsoft Excel, Power BI, Chat GPT, generative AI tools, or it could be all Microsoft based tools, projects, Google Sheets, anything that has to do with softwares. Those are your core skills or technical skills. Then comes your awards and achievement, which is the recognitions that you have got. Best student, best like gold medal in some subject, sports, arts, anything. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. More recent, the better. And if you have anything on national or state level, put it at the top. It sells, it does sell 100%. So you will be selected or rejected here. This becomes your minimum basic thing to write. Does it make sense? Type make sense in the chat box if this has made sense. Type made sense in the chat box. We'll take up questions, don't worry. Maybe in the upcoming slides, your questions would already be answered. Thank you. Let's move ahead. Now, while you are writing the content and before we start looking at the template of the resume and kahan pe kya important hai, there are some important points to be remembered, right? As an MBA fresher, I don't generally recommend this. But as an MBA fresher, keep it to one page. Keep your resume to one page. And it's very easily doable. Very easily doable, right? And we'll see the templates. Always proofread before forwarding. पहले तो ऐसा था that people had to sit and read, spell check, grammatical check. But now you have tools, you have Grammarly, you have a lot of other tools that will do the spell check and proofreading for you. Don't miss this. Never ever lie. There are people who are writing fake projects. There are people who are getting signatures on papers and putting the project there. Don't do this. Recruiters are the smartest of the lot. I mean, smartest नहीं भी है, but वो recruiter है और आप candidate हो तो आपसे तो smart है ही. They'll catch you. और problem है इसमें, when you lie on your resume, I'll tell you the problem. It's not like you will be kind of made to feel that you are a liar. बहुत सारे recruiters तो upfront जो थोड़े से टेढ़े होते हैं वो upfront they'll catch you and they'll say you have lied here. Can you give me a justification? And they'll make you feel that you have lied. A lot of other recruiters, what they'll do, they'll simply reject you. They'll understand that you have lied, you have tried to oversell yourself, and they'll reject you and they will bar your profile from applying in that company for the next, I don't know, 3 years, 2 years, whatever number of years. So very, very critical, sensitive matter, don't lie. It's different to exaggerate. You can exaggerate. भाई आपने annual fest के लिए आप team का member, you were a member of a team, you did 3 things directly and 2 things indirectly. You can say I managed all the 5 things because you would be able to justify. 3 काम थे, sponsorship था, event management था जो आपने directly किया, but maybe 1 या 2 काम ऐसे थे, like maybe corporate sponsorship which you were a part of but you did not lead that project. Say that you led that project. That much is fine because you'll be able to justify. But something that you have not done at all, if you're writing it, if they catch you and you're not able to answer in the interview, they will 100% bar you. Right? The last point is maintain a live career document. By this I mean, instead of sitting and during the placement season and drafting a resume, keep a resume ready and keep adding to it. Whenever you do something, a certificate, an event, a project, whatever it is, keep adding to it. So that at the end, towards the end of towards the start of the placement season, you do not miss anything. Now we come to, let's pick the templates first. I'll show you the templates and then we will see if we can understand what is an ATS. Now, Let me reshare my screen. I'm showing you a template here. We will be reviewing this template live. Okay, we'll be reviewing this template live, and you tell me how do you find this. So if this resume comes to me, what is right and what is wrong? Okay, number one, this is right because we have a name at the right place, we have contact numbers at the right place. This is okay because the guy wants to start with trainings. So, okay, he has done these trainings. In college, he has done these projects, fine. Heading, subheading, left to right, no problem at all. Heading, subheadings, left to right, straight fonts, standard fonts. Skill sets. Is this right or wrong? The way he has written the skill sets, right or wrong? Give me your input on the chat box. Right or wrong? Wrong. The ATS is highly likely going to reject it. So this is wrong. Achievements, good. Single line. Information and references, wrong. Not required, not required. Unless your TNP, like your college, asks you to put something, it is not required. Right? Now, if I talk about result orientation, see the projects, research paper on regenerative braking system in electric vehicle, bridge rectifier circuit project planning and development, whatever. Has he followed the concept of result orientation? Yes or no? Yes or no? No. The first time I'm getting a mixed response from you on the chat box. Let me tell you the answer. This is a no. He has not followed result orientation. There are no numbers. He has not written what he has done here. Research paper on regenerative braking system in electric vehicle. What do I get by this? What, he has read the research paper? He has built a research paper. What was the output? Was there a recommendation that came out of the research paper? Nothing. Right? Let me share another fresher resume with you. Give me a second. Resume. Okay. Yes. I am sharing with you another resume, which is again a fresher resume. And let's see how it is. Is this visible? Is the resume visible? Type yes or no in the chat box. Yes, yes. Perfect. Let's see how it is prepared. So Prakriti Parihar, Bangalore, Karnataka. So name, so okay, not left and right, top to bottom, fine. She has not broken into columns, so fine. I see name. I see name, I see contact details, email ID, everything. Career objective, seasoned IT professional, skilled in. So who is she? She's a seasoned IT professional. She's skilled in these things. 1.5 years of experience of working with high-level executives, MD, CEO, whatever. Where she wants to go, building solutions while leveraging technology to excel in business objectives. She has started with skill sets, fair enough. All the soft skills, all the technical skills. Good to go, no problem. Just simple bullets. I would still recommend that this has to be written all the soft skill from left to right, all the hard skills from left to right. See professional experience. These are all internship experiences, which she has written as professional experience. Right? She's doing internships here. SAP Labs, fellow at Managing Director's Office. Project heading. What she has done, see how she has written. Executed, planned and strategized 15 webcasts, including episode launch. Established 5 episodes and 3 launches in quarters time. Second project, product Thursdays. The people who have seen resumes, especially the faculties, you would know with the project heads that these are internship experiences, right? Projects, product tech talks, webcast, product Thursdays, masterclass, product demystify, mentorship, wherever she could, even with the aspect of participant numbers, she has written it. For example, people who are organizing these kind of webinars, sessions, who are members of TNP project can mention their project as training and placements, core committee member training and placements, and write down what you organized, how many sessions, how many people attended, what was the impact, etc. This is how she has written up till here. Then she decides to write her educational background. Institute name, CGPA, timeline, duration. Then she decides to write her certifications, which is fine. Then, as I told you, awards and activities. This is even one step ahead. Whatever she got as an award, she has written the reason for it as well. She increased the footfall by 50%. And this is a real resume which got her a great job. I'll share the templates with the organizers of this session after the session is complete. But here what is important is you to understand how it is drafted. Did something of value get added to your mind? Type bulb on in the chat box. Can you type bulb on if something here lightened up? How to build a resume, how to make a resume. Type bulb on in the chat box. Bulb on. Perfect. Thank you so much. Let us get back to what is ATS and what is an ATS friendly checklist. Okay. I told you the process. I'll need an insight from maybe Aishwarya ma'am. How likely it is that the audience here will be applying for jobs off campus as well, like beyond campus placements. Then we'll cover the ATS part as well. Can anybody guide me on that? Should we cover the ATS part? Is it likely that the audience here will be applying for jobs off campus as well? Because then it is very, very important. They will be? Okay, perfect. Now, the process. When you apply for jobs, the first time your resume is submitted, it passes through a machine. That machine is called ATS or application tracking software. That machine has no human emotions. They will not look at your creativity. They will not look at your designs, whatever you do. They'll only consider what is fed in them. So recruiters unme feed kar chuke hain, wohi wo check karenge. That is how machines work. Now, what is fed into that ATS? Number one, the keywords, which are there in the job description, and I'm happy that you guys already know it. Number two, more numbers, more score. So more result orientation, higher is the score. That is what is fed into the ATS. The third thing that is fed into the ATS is formatting. It does not understand pictures. It does not understand column breaks. It does not understand boxes, graphs, charts, etc. And that is why the resume that I showed you that gained most number of shortlists was a simple resume. Left to right, top to bottom, heading, subheading, heading, subheadings. That are the kind of resumes that get shortlisted. So I'm giving you an ATS checklist. I'll go through it very fast. You take a screenshot there. After you make your resume, just check if you have followed all the pointers. I'm sharing my screen again. This is the ATS checklist for you. You can take a screenshot. We'll still try and go through some. Keyword optimization. Have you used the keywords that are there in the job descriptions? Especially, kahan use karoge? In the skill section, in the summary section, in the experience sections, right? This will increase your score significantly. Use simple formatting, clean, clear, standard fonts, Arial, Times New Roman, Calibri, Cambria, that's it. No fancy fonts, no complex tables, no graphics. It can confuse the ATS, your resume can go into the sideline, rejected. Consistent headings, अगर लेफ्ट में हेडिंग्स है तो लेफ्ट ही फॉलो करो, अगर मिडिल में हेडिंग यूज कर रहे हो तो मिडिल सेंटर में फॉलो करो. That is how it should be from top to bottom, because ATS will bifurcate headings and subheadings. And if you have done it clearly, highly likely it will present your data to the recruiter in a much better format. Use bullet points. I think we have explained this already. Standard section tiles, repetitive. Appropriate file format, Word or PDF. That's the only two file format that ATS supports. Unless the company asks you to drop a PDF format resume, you drop a PDF. Otherwise, Word format is what works the best, right? If they ask you to drop a PDF, drop a PDF. If they don't ask you, you can submit a Word or a PDF, nothing else. No headers, no footers. Word file में जब आप resume बनाते हो, you don't need headers, you don't need footers, you don't need references, nothing. No images or graphics. No images, no graphs, no charts, no boxes. This is something that people forget. This is very critical. When you are writing your resume, spell out the acronyms. Don't write SEO or maybe CO or MS Office. Don't use that. Type the full words, because there are keywords fed into the ATS. Now you might have the skill, you might have the experience of what they want, but then just because you have used short forms in the resume, ATS will not be able to check it, recognize it, and you will not be shortlisted. Please spell out the acronyms.
Satyam, I'm really sorry to interrupt. It's 5 minutes left for the meeting, so we really need to speed it up.
Sure. I was already over the concluding patterns.
I know, I understand, but it seemed really interesting, so I gave a thumbs up for you to explain this as well. You know, even the children wanted that. But yes, so sorry.
No problem, no problem. So what we'll do, we'll utilize the last 5 minutes to the best possible format. And how will we do that? I'll tell you. Two things. Number one, there are times when a resume has to be accompanied with a cover letter, right? So what I'll do here is, when I share the resume templates with Aishwarya ma'am or the organizers, I'll also share the cover letter templates. How would you put the cover letter? What is a cover letter? When you are sending a resume to somebody, there has to be some description, right? You will not just send a file. Then you will draft a mail, you will draft a message, something. Sometimes company asks specifically for a cover letter, and then sometimes they do not, right? Even then you will write a message or a mail. How to write that mail has a template, and I'll share that with Aishwarya ma'am, right? That was something that was there in the slides that was to be explained to everybody, right? Now still, there could be multiple questions, there could be specific ATS related issues, there could be कैसे बनाना है, fresher कैसे बनाएगा, projects कैसे लिखेंगे. I have a portal for you where I have tried to bring out multiple videos on resume as well as job interviews. How to justify your resume when you are sitting for job interviews. There may be 120 or 130 questions for freshers that I have broken down. How to answer them, how to do that. Do you want that portal? Do you want the access to that portal? Type yes in the chat box, please. Type yes in the chat box. In the chat box, I am sharing the link to that YouTube channel where there are more than, I don't know, 200 videos on resume and interviews. So kind of, I don't know, 6 to 7 hours of content on resume and interview, which you can watch at your free will and time. I have shared that YouTube link. I don't know how many people are here. If you want to understand, you want to get daily tips on resume and interview, you can just go and hit subscribe. I am sharing it again on the chat box. The channel name is Career Growth with Satyam. You can just go and hit subscribe there. In that way, whatever I bring out in terms of resume building, in terms of interview preparation, in terms of specific questions on how to crack your interviews, you can actually get tips on a daily basis. That is one way to learn, right? I hope you have all subscribed to that channel. That is an open channel. You can just go and, if you want to go, you can go. If you hit subscribe, you will receive on your YouTube wall one tip every day. There is another portal where you can reach out to me for questions. And that portal is my LinkedIn portal. Why I'm specifically sharing my LinkedIn portal is because you must be on LinkedIn. As MBA graduates, MBA freshers, you must be on LinkedIn. You can learn.
I did want to ask you this question because every resume that you showed had a LinkedIn link, right? So,
yes,
is it that important to be on LinkedIn for everyone?
100%.
All
It is
right.
that important. That is one of the criterias of going to the top 5%. And I'm specifically not sharing my Instagram. I could have shared my Instagram profile and asked them to follow me there as well. But I don't want to do that because that is a one-way communication. They'll not learn much. On LinkedIn, you can learn from my profile and you can actually send me DMs with your questions so that I can respond there. So I'm sharing my LinkedIn profile here with you. I think YouTube, you have already, like, whoever wants to learn, you can subscribe. LinkedIn, I'm sharing my profile. I think, Ashwara ma'am, you would also know my profile on LinkedIn. Let them learn from that profile, and I'm sure, like, that will be helpful for them a lot.
I'll do that. Also, there is a question that will this be helpful for experienced candidates? Now, where do they write their experience in the resume? Now, you did mention the way they're supposed to draft their resume. So, experience should come at first. I mean, that should be the priority.
Yes.
What do you say?
So, yes. When you looked at Prakriti's resume, right? Name, contact details, and then she started with skill sets and then experience.
Yeah.
So experience, internship for freshers, projects for freshers, work experience for work experience candidates. So it has to start with the experienced candidates and then go below, right? Then go to your internships, etc. Because for experienced candidates, experience is something that is the highest selling point. That is what it is for experienced candidates. But instead of career objectives, they will write professional title. Okay. Right? So freshers would write career objectives, they will write professional title. I would also try to share a format or a template of a work experience candidate who has got a lot of offers.
All right.
I'll share the template.
Sounds great. All right. I hope the children were able to understand everything that you said. And of course, they will follow and subscribe your channel and also get connected through LinkedIn. I know many students have a lot of queries. Students, I think you should go ahead, connect with Satyam and communicate after that, right? Satyam, thank you so much. It was great connecting with you. It was a very informative session, and I mean, I got a lot from the session personally, so of course upgrading resume is also very important. And honestly, these things, when you're so experienced, these things, but you do not tend to imply on your resume the same, right? Now this is like an alarm clock that rang, and we know how we are supposed to modify and improve on our resume now, and of course our skill set as well. Thank you so much, Satyam. Thank you so much. We will stay connected, and we're looking forward to many such informative sessions from you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you everybody for being a good listener.
Oh, they couldn't talk anyways. I've muted all of them. But yes, they were very interactive.
On the chat. On the chat, yes.
Yes, of course they did. That was really interactive. And yes, you did mention that is how you're going to interact with them. And thank you. I would like to end the session right now, and
Sure.
I'll connect. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.